Hello, this is Craig and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. This is our yearly pilgrimage to the Annapolis Sailboat Show, also called the United States Sailboat Show. We come and we check out catamarans to look for our future floating home. That's right, we're selling everything and we're going to move all our possessions onto a catamaran and live full-time sailing around the world. So that's the plan. So every year we come and check out these boats. There's always something new to see. So how this series is going to work is every episode is going to be one catamaran being reviewed. Last episode was the Nizda 50 foot. It's the only boat from that manufacturer here, so there's only the one to compare it to. This episode is going to be the Lagoon series, starting with the smallest, the Lagoon 380, and every episode after that will be a Lagoon slightly larger than the previous one. From this footage, you can see that there are dozens of catamarans for us to review. We didn't have enough time to even film all the ones that were there. We tried to pick the ones that would seem most like what we would buy in the future. But if we can't even film them by walking through, we certainly didn't have the time or resources to go out and sail each individual boat. So for those couple of commenters that said, well, that's nice that you're walking us through like it's a real estate video, but how does it sail? Well, YouTube is your friend. Hit that search box at the top and type in whatever model you're interested in sailing, and there's probably somebody out there that's made a video of it sailing, but that won't be our channel except for one boat, the Exquisite X5. Set up a test sail for us at the very end of the show after the last day, and so we've got footage of that on the last episode that we will produce in the series. So you can look forward to an actual test sail then. But all the other catamarans that we're going to review are us walking through. If we were offered a guided tour by somebody who is knowledgeable, we took them up on it, and those episodes will be a little longer because they point out every little fact and detail that's of benefit. A lot of times with the big production builders like Fontaine-Pajot, Lagoon, or Leopard, there's just a huge line of people waiting, and the only people who are really at the boat is sort of like a hostess that just makes sure people are getting on, not too many people at once, and that people aren't doing any damage to the boat. A lot of times when you ask them very detailed spec questions or even prices of certain upgrades and stuff, they're not 100% sure, and they often refer you to speak to one of the sales managers. Those sales managers are often at an office location adjacent, sitting down with people that actually have their checkbooks out, not people like us that are just there to film for YouTube. So we didn't get the guided tours usually with the production builders, but the more boutique builders tended to have somebody who was more than happy to walk us around and show us the features. So there you go. And the last point I want to mention is I had a couple of commenters say it seems like all you're interested in is how comfortable it is inside, how big the cabins are, how big the galley is, how big the heads are, whatnot. And that's pretty much true, because from our experience and talking to people that live full-time on their catamarans, you spend about 90% of your time at anchor. So the most important thing is the fit and finish, the quality and the interior comfort of the catamaran. Sailing characteristics are not nearly as important to us. If our boat sails at 8 knots and one of the fast cats sails at 10 knots, it really doesn't make a difference to us if we're 2 knots slower, as long as we're comfortable. And with those bigger, fatter, wider hulls, we will be able to sustain holding more weight. And since we're going to live full time with all of everything we own on this one boat, its ability to carry extra weight is important. So there you go. That's why we're not too concerned about speed. Okay, with both of those questions out of the way, let's get on to the Lagoons. In this case, the very smallest of the Lagoons at the show, the Lagoon 380.
We're getting on the Lagoons now. This is the Lagoon 38.
This is the smallest of the Lagoons. Now we know from last year, this one is just a little bit too small for a full-time live-aboard in our opinion. But it would be a great option if you wanted to keep your house, like we're not planning to do, and live on this part of the year. Woo. On the trampoline. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you upside down and put you underneath to show you the bridge deck clearance. First thing to notice as I'm dropping you under the deck is that the trampoline is that kind of abrasive rope type trampoline. It's a little hard on the feet, not the softest thing to lay on. You probably want a cushion before you lay on there. And that the bridge deck clearance underneath it's adequate. It's not high, it's not low, it's sort of in between. It's a nice smooth surface, so hopefully not too much bridge deck slap from waves, but pretty much all catamarans have some. You can see it's got a pretty standard rigging, normal sails, not in mast furling, although any boat you probably can have that put on as an added feature. There's good room around the outside to walk by for a smaller cat. And then the downside of that is that means the inside's not going to be that big. One thing to take note with this catamaran is they don't have any outdoor dining area. That little coffee table, though, can be switched out for the table inside. They both fit on the same mount, so you can bring the table inside out if you want to eat outside, but You don't have a standalone table outside, and really not a lot of seating in general in the outside cockpit area, which is opposite of most catamarans these days, where they tend to put a lot of seating outside and minimize maybe a little bit of the space on the inside. This one does the opposite. For a small catamaran, this has actually a pretty decent sized interior saloon. As you know, if you watched the last episode, Janice and I have our own cameras and are giving our own comments on what we think of the boat along the way. Let's see what she has to say.
The helm. Got a cute little table, which I assume raises. Pretty cute in here. The galley is functional. It's got double sinks. Little stove top. 3 burner. Wood button. Ladder window. The nav station. It's a cute sitting area. I like all the shelvings, and it's bright. Should go downstairs now.
Okay, I didn't hear any complaints there. I think we both were pretty impressed with the interior saloon on this small catamaran. So I'm taking you down into the starboard hull now, which is actually the owner's version. So this whole entire hull is all just the owner's cabin. The head is actually a decent size. For a small cat, this is a pretty decent sized head. But then again, this is the owner's side, so it's usually the whole bow of the boat becomes the head, so it makes it a little bit larger. We'll see what happens when we go to the other side and it's 2 cabins. It'll probably be much smaller. So what does Janice think of this owner's cabin?
It's the master berth. And it's actually quite large. It looks bigger to me than the one that was on the Naisna. On a much smaller boat. And also the head here was of comparable size to the Naisna's head on the master cabin as well. Right, lots of window. There's a hatch. There's a peekaboo hatch over here.
So this is a queen, but you don't have a lot of room on the sides.
But the mattress though,
It's good.
the bathroom's the same size as the nicest bathroom, and his bed is wider than the nice master bed.
Oh yeah? The sink is small though, very small. And the head is a pump head, not an electric head. And then you have the big shower though, eh?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
This is the rebirth at the front. It's cute. You could sleep 2, I suppose. Well, 1 comfortably for sure, but now I admit it's cute, but there was a lot of things I found deficient for it to be a live-aboard cat. For one thing, the heads are pump toilets. There's not a shower in the guest cabins. There's only 1 head on that side. There's no shelving around the bed. There's a lot of lack of cabinetry in general. So that's my thought anyway. What did Janice think of this side?
It's a good size. Not a standalone shower. Sink faucet becomes the shower head. The beds back here, good size. The aft beds, quite big. No one seems to be living on this right now. Cute little fridge. Cutlery. Garbage hole. Self-opening.
Janice checked out the interior first, and she hasn't had a chance to say what she thought about the outside, so let's hear that now.
There's actually good walkabout space here. I've got a duck under this thing, but it has little princess seats. The trampoline is the rope kind. So the lagoon has nice big straight up and down windows. It is very cute. I could probably settle for this, but I don't know if it's big enough to live on for a decade or more.
Hello. So we just went through the Lagoon 380. So what did you think?
Super cute. It is super cute.
Yeah.
We're very well laid out. It has two little sinks. The back cockpit is pretty functional. I mean,
Small but functional.
yeah, I guess there's quite a few people back here.
Yeah. It's too small for a liveaboard, I think. That's my opinion is just not enough storage for a full-time liveaboard. Everything is kind of miniaturized. It's super cute if you just wanted a catamaran just as your getaway place. This boat would be perfect.
Yeah.
But
You could coastal cruise in this.
yeah,
like
coastal
part-time.
cruise. Yeah, part-time. Yeah. Everything you own, like we're thinking of doing, it's got to be on the boat. Like everything you own, there's just not enough storage.
Yeah.
And a little
want
bit
to have extras, like want to have extracurricular activities on board.
Yeah.
Scuba
Scuba tanks,
kayak maybe.
folding bikes.
That one too.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of space for storage. So doesn't feel like a liveaboard, but super cute boat if you just wanted a catamaran for your vacation time. So that's about it.
Yes.
All right. We'll go on to the next one, which is the Lagoon 40, which is a newer 2-foot longer boat. So we'll see what we think about that one. All right.
So there you go. There are our thoughts on the Lagoon 38. It is a very, very cute boat. No doubt about it. The salon or the saloon, depending on how you like to say it, was very well laid out, bright and airy. The downside is the cabins just seemed too small. There was no shelving. There was a lack of cabinetry in general to store all your clothing and things that you would need to live full time. So it just didn't feel like a full-size live-aboard cat for me. I noticed when we recorded our final thoughts that Jana seemed to be more complimentary about the boat than I was. I think what it was, and now that she's seen the footage, she agrees it's too small. But at the time, it was the first lagoon we'd seen. So you're looking at this 38 thinking, yeah, if I had to, I could make this work. But then when you see the 40 and then the 42 and then the 45 and then the 52, you start to see the space that you probably really do require to live full time on a boat. So if we'd seen it in reverse order from biggest to smallest, I'm sure by the 38 she would have not even been the slightest bit interested in this catamaran. I could see this catamaran having a purpose for those snowbirds who want to get away from the winter blahs and go live down south. This would be the perfect size boat because you wouldn't need everything you own to be on it. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If so, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe because there's going to be more episodes like this coming in the very near future. So until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you safe cruising.